Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillahi amma ba'd. Welcome to another episode of the Heart Matters podcast. And we continue with the explanation of the 28th hadith of the 40 hadith of Imam Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, the hadith of sticking to the Sunnah by Sheikh Abdul Razzaq al-Badr hafidhullah ta'ala. The Sheikh, he says, the Quran enjoined taqwa in many occurrences, especially those verses starting with the phrase, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe. The same can also be found in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's advice to his companions. Number 4, the phrase, and listen and obey your leader, even if a slave were to become your leader. It is advice to listen and obey those in authority in matters containing no disobedience to Allah, even if the leader is a slave. Scholars have unanimously agreed that a slave is not eligible for the Caliphate. However, the meaning of this hadith and other hadith like it should be interpreted in the context of exaggeration in enjoining listening and obeying a servant if he is a Khalifa, even if this is hypothesis, even if this hypothesis is unfeasible. Another possible aspect of interpretation is the case when a Khalif appoints a servant as a governor of a village or a small group. A third possible interpretation is that the servant referred to above was free at the time of assuming authority and was called a servant based on his previous status. A fourth possible interpretation is that the servant usurped authority by force, and later his authority was established and security was established. In such a case, rebelling against his authority would have worse results than his being in authority. Benefit number 5. Verily, he who lives among you will see ikhtilafin kathira, many differences, lots of differences. This is one of the proofs of the truthfulness of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his prophethood. To explain, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophesied specific events that already took place in the future. In fact, those among the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu anhu, who lived for so long, witnessed the controversy and dispute that arose among the Muslims and went against the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, radiyallahu anhu. An example of this was the emergence of the misguided sects, such as the Qadariyya and the Khawarij and others. Let's stop here for a second. Many people, they use the excuse, and it's just an excuse, that the companions didn't deal with these issues. They did. They did. This is proof. They dealt with it. And one of the ongoing themes that you read when you read the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talking about the fitna, the turbulence that would take place among the Muslims. Let's be clear about something. These Hadith, he's talking about the fitna with the Muslims, the division of the Muslims, the hatred of one another of the Muslims. That's what he's talking about. A constant theme that you will read is that he told the Muslims to be quiet, to not talk. So much so that in some of the hadith, he told the Muslims, meaning us, that talking about these matters would be worse than striking with the sword. Let me repeat that. He said in many of those hadith, he states that talking about these matters during these times will be worse than striking with the sword. He states that there will be fitna. And let's be clear, we're living in these times. There will be fitna where the one laying down will be better than the one who's sitting. And the one who's standing, the one who's sitting down will be better than the one who's standing. And the one who's walking will be better than the one who's running. Meaning, the further away you are from the fitna, the better. Don't talk. Now let's stop for a second. Let's ponder upon this. There are certain people that should talk. Let's be clear about that. There are certain people that should talk. One, the ulama. The ulama should talk. And when you look at this matter, when you look at it, when Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, he went to the Khawarij to talk with them about their dispute with Ali, radiallahu anhu. Who was Ibn Abbas? Radiallahu anhu. Who was he? Ibn Abbas was a scholar from amongst the companions. He was ulama from amongst the companions. So Ali, radiallahu anhu, he didn't just send anybody. No, he sent Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, because the scholars, they should talk. They should talk, they have the right to talk, and they have the ilm to talk. Scholars should talk. Other people that talk, it is weighing. Maybe they should talk, maybe they shouldn't talk. Based on what they have. Meaning, if they have ilm of the book and the sunnah, and they are not coming to the people, they're not bringing to the people, they're not talking to the people about bid'ah and gulu and like this, then they should talk. But if they're coming with bid'ah and gulu and like this, then they should talk. And the layman, like me, we shouldn't talk. We shouldn't talk. There's an exception to that. Unless we are asked. because that's what the majority of companions did. They didn't talk. They didn't talk about this stuff that was going on unless they were asked. And when they were asked, they spoke based on knowledge, Quran, wa Sunnah, and like this. And then they went what? They went back to being silent. They went back to what? Being silent. So, if we really want safety, we have to follow them. If we really want to be safe, we have to follow them. And we're coming to that. This is the next phrase that's coming up. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you must keep to my sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa Rashideen al-Mahdiyyin. Cling to it, bite onto it with your molar teeth. Now, before I read what the Sheikh says, when Uthman radiallahu anhu became the Khalifa, this is when the Khawarij and others, they started to talk. They started to talk. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he went about his business of governing. When he was asked about these matters, he answered. When he was asked about these matters, he answered. So much so, because the talking, it just got out of hand. So much so, when they had the Khalifa, radiallahu anhu, barricaded in his home, one of the Khawarij was leading the people in Salah. Some of the companions, they came to Uthman radiallahu anhu, and they were ready to fight against this individual and the individuals who were with him. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he told them, don't do that. Do not do that. And he said that an individual from the rebellious group is leading the Salah. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he said to them, Salah is from amongst the best of deeds. So when the people do good, meaning the leaders do good, then you follow them in good. If they do other than that, then you don't follow them in that. These are the people we're supposed to follow. Now, the Sheikh says, after predicting the rising and widespread disputes, he guided us to the way of safety. It is through sticking to his sunnah and that of the rightly guided Khalifs, who are Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, radiyallahu anhum ajma'een. Let's stop here for a second. Again, when Ali, radiyallahu anhu, fought against the Khawarij, some of the people came to him and they asked him, they said to him, aren't the Khawarij kuffar? Ali radiallahu anhu said, no, they are not kuffar, they are our brothers. We are just disagreeing with them right now. They're not kuffar. They're not kuffar. They're not kafirs. We're just disagreeing with them right now. They're not kuffar. Why did he say that? Because the Prophet ﷺ never called them kuffar. He never said that the Khawarij were kuffar. He never said that. It's not what he said. So who was Ali following when he made that statement? He was following the Prophet ﷺ. But now you have Muslims, they may not say it with the tongue. They may not say it. But they treat other Muslims because of disagreements and because of sins. They treat other Muslims worse than they treat the kuffar. And they don't want any good for those Muslims. They want those Muslims to die and go to the hellfire. This is what we do. This is what we do. So who are we following? We're following our own desires. We're following whatever we feel like. We're not following them. And before I get back to what the Sheikh said, I want to point something out here. This is important. The Prophet ﷺ, he did not want people to go to the hellfire. Let me repeat that. He did not want people to go to the hellfire. He didn't want that. So much so, when Abdullah ibn Ubay passed away, he was the chief of the Munafiqeen. When he passed away, the Prophet ﷺ gave his son his garment to wrap him with it, and he was starting to pray over him. And Umar radiallahu anhu, he tugged the cloak of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said to him, Ya Rasulullah, you're going to pray over this individual who you know he's a munafiq. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah said that if I ask for forgiveness for him 70 times, it won't be accepted. He said, he didn't say that if I ask him for forgiveness more than 70 times, he won't be forgiven. He didn't want Abdullah ibn Ubay to go to hellfire. Now, we want people to go to hellfire. We want people that are still alive to go to the hellfire. We won't make dua, then Allah guide them. We won't do that. Who are we following? Who are we following? It's not the Prophet ﷺ. It's definitely not him. It's definitely not him. Now, the Shaykh, he says, in the Hadith of Safina, radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described their way of government to be following the model of the prophets. The Hadith reads, there will be a Khalifat on the model of nubuwwah, of prophecy. Then Allah will give the kingdom to whom He wills. It is an authentic hadith in which he reported 9 hadith scholars that have graded it authentic. Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah, he says, Sunnah means the way that is to be followed. So, it includes sticking to all the beliefs, sayings, and actions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his rightly guided khulafa. This is the complete sunnah. Therefore, our righteous predecessors used the word sunnah to refer conclusively to all these things. However, many of the later scholars use the word sunnah to refer specifically to belief-related issues because they are the basics of the religion and one who deviates from them will be greatly endangered. Moreover, the Prophet ﷺ urged sticking to his sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided khulafa through using the word fa'alaykum, which is a specific command. It's not a request. That's me talking. The Prophet ﷺ said, fa'alaykum. It's a command. It's not a request. Meaning, you have to do it. If you want safety, then you have to do it. He then instructed us to remain steadfast on it through the expression, bite onto it with your molar teeth, which is an exaggerated form, metaphorically denoting the importance of strongly adhering to it. Let's stop here again for a second. Let's stop here for a second. The Prophet ﷺ was not a backbiter. He was not a slanderer. He was not into qila wa qal. That's not what he did. Nor was his companions, radiyallahu anhu. And they learned that from him. They learned that from him. They loved one another and they made dua for one another. They didn't relish in the sins of one another. They didn't do that. One of the reasons they didn't do that is because they didn't think they were better than anybody else. As I've quoted before on many occasions, Abu Mulayqi, rahimahullah, he said he met 30 of the companions. He met 30 of them. That's all he met. He said he met 30 of the companions, and all of them feared hypocrisy for themselves. All of them. Us, beliefs messed up, salah messed up, zakah messed up, akhlaq messed up. We feel safe. Who are we following? It's not them. Can't be them. But we were ordered to follow them. We were ordered by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to follow them. May Allah bless us to follow them, inwardly and outwardly. We'll stop here, inshallah ta'ala, and we will come back and continue with the explanation of this tremendous hadith. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد